Good morning. Can everyone hear me, including back in the back? Great, perfect. We are here for the Ohio Oil and Gas Land Management Commission meeting. Before we begin, I would ask the clerk to call the roll.
Commissioner Buer? Here. Commissioner McGregor?
Here.
Commissioner Warnock?
Here.
Commissioner Wise?
Here.
Chair Richardson?
Here. Having established a quorum, we will begin the meeting today. Before we get started, we'll go over a few housekeeping items. As I think everyone here knows, the purpose of our meeting today is for the commission to conduct its statutory requirement to discuss and make a determination on nominations that have been submitted up until this point and which have been outlined on the agenda today. To that end, we will not be today taking any public testimony or questions from the audience. It will be a working meeting of the commission. So I will ask that the audience please be respectful today and allow us to conduct the meeting. I do understand, and I know all of us know, that these issues that we're talking about today are critically important to everyone who is here, whether you are a member of an environmental organization, a member of the industry, a landowner. These are critical issues. And we respect the fact that you are here. I want to first and foremost thank all of you for being here, and I know many people have joined on Teams as well. I can't tell you how much I have appreciated, I have thrown the invitation out throughout this process to speak to many of you, and I am grateful that many of you have taken me up on that, and I have very much respected the input that you have given and your perspectives. I hope that at all times you have felt that I have been respectful to you, and I would ask for that today as well. It is critically important that we be able to conduct the meeting in a meaningful way, and I want to make sure that both everyone who is here in person and those who are watching on Teams can hear us and that they can understand what we're saying without any misunderstandings or confusions that can come up when there are interruptions. So I thank you all for being here today. Certainly, as has been the case in the past, following the meeting and throughout, if you have questions, if you would like to speak to us, I continue to extend that invitation. I'm happy to take questions and to talk to folks and welcome you to do that. But for purposes of today's meeting, we ask and are grateful for everyone being here to observe respectfully. And with that, we will move to approving the minutes from the prior meeting of September 18th, 2023. You should all have hard copies in front of you of the meetings. We'll take a moment to let everybody review those. Is there any discussion or edits to the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The motion carries and the minutes have been approved. Those will be posted on the Commission's website. We will now turn to discussing the nominations that have been outlined on the agenda. Those include all of the nominations that were tabled at the last meeting, as well as the additional nominations that have come in and have received their public comment period. We'll begin discussing those today. Before we start going through the actual nominations themselves, I did want to take just a moment to address a misunderstanding that came out of comments in the last meeting that I made, and I want to clarify and make sure that everyone understands. There was some confusion that what I was saying at the last meeting was intended to suggest that I felt like we do not have the power as a commission to deny a nomination. So I want to make very, very clear that that is not the case. We absolutely do have explicit authority that is outlined in the statute to approve or deny the nominations. However, what I was trying to say at the last meeting, which is still the case, what I was trying to convey is that we do not have the power to deny a nomination on the basis that we disagree with the legislature's determination. That same statute sets out the policy of the state, and I do believe we are obligated to effectuate that intent. But the statute did lay out the 9 factors that we have discussed, and I know we're all familiar with, and we have the authority to deny on those grounds, and I know we'll discuss that today. I know coming into this meeting, we've all had an opportunity to review and carefully consider each of the nominations and to look at them through the lens of those factors that are in the statute, and that we will go through each of these and discuss whether on the basis of those factors, we think these nominations should be approved or denied or approved with restrictions as the statute allows us to do. So to begin, you should have in front of you packets that have all of the information on each of the nominations. I will just remind everyone that the statute requires us to keep the name of the nominators confidential as well as the specific monetary offerings confidential, but we can discuss the content of the nominations. All of that has been posted publicly and is appropriate for us to discuss in this public meeting. We will start with the nominations for 23 DNR 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10, which all pertain to Salt Fork State Park. And before we begin discussing the individual nominations, I wanted to highlight sort of the first thing that we need to consider is that there are overlapping areas that are covered in these nominations. So that will require us to make a decision at the outset over sort of which category of nominations we're going to be considering. DNR 0009 encompasses the whole of Salt Fork State Park, and the other Salt Fork nominations are smaller parcels that together comprise most of the park. But obviously we can't have more than one lessee over the same property, so we can't both approve 9 and approve the other smaller parcels. So I think for efficiency's sake, the first thing that we should discuss is which category we're going to be having the fuller discussion on, and whether, obviously one of the two will need to be denied. So we'll start with that. Based on my review of the factors, I would propose that we deny the large nomination, which is 23 DNR 0009. Primarily because of the economic factors that are detailed in the nomination, which cannot be discussed here, but I know everyone is familiar with. I believe that the smaller nominations do provide a better offer to the state, are in the state's best interest in terms of the economic value that they bring to the state. Is there any discussion on that factor before we get into the details of the nominations?
Question?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll grab the whole thing. I don't know, is it on? Is it on?
It is on.
Okay. Madam Chair, thank you, sort of. In terms of just the land area we're talking about here, when you add 5, 6, 7, and 8, do they all equal the same acreage as 9? I know you said each of them are encompassed in 9, but do all those things equal out in terms of the gross acres we're talking about?
It does equal approximately the same overall if each of those were to be accepted. We would discuss each of those nominations separately, but assuming that each of those were accepted, it does comprise the bulk of Salt Fork State Park. So they are similar in terms of the overall that they cover. But it would be a breakdown of the different nominations versus including all of that in a single nomination that would go up for bid.
So the acreage is, you're saying close, within 10% or within 50% or?
So there's a slight issue, which I know we're going to talk about here in a moment, but 9 does include, a couple of these actually include multiple agencies, which is a separate issue we're gonna discuss. But, so 9 does include some ODOT property, more ODOT property than would be included in the smaller nominations comprised. So that's a separate issue, but I think it is fair to say that, you know, in a just general sense, that it's, from a Salt Fork State Park standpoint, approximately the same.
So I generally agree with your approach of denying this one and focusing on the other 4. You know, you touched on the issue of this nomination involves multiple state agencies. You know, personally, I feel like nominations can certainly include multiple parcels, but we should keep, you know, nominations focused on a single state agency, because as we're seeing, each state agency has different restrictions or comments relative to their land. So I think that's an additional reason for me to deny this one and then focus on the other 4.
Okay, any other discussion on 009? Okay, do I have a motion with respect to 009?
Move to decline the nomination.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of disapproving 23 DNR 0009?
Commissioner Buer,
Yes.
Commissioner McGregor,
Yes.
Commissioner Warnock,
Yes.
Commissioner Wise,
Yes.
Chair Richardson.
Yes. Okay, and with that, the motion carries, and 23 DNR 0009 has been disapproved. Okay, so then that leaves us the smaller parcels of Salt Fork, which include 23 DNR 0005, 0006, 0007, and 0010. And so we will take votes on each of those separately, but I think for purposes of our discussion, we can discuss those as a group, because many of the comments and considerations about additional restrictions will be the same for each of these. So the first issue that we would need to discuss for these, because they do constitute DNR state park property, as we discussed at the last meeting, the Department of Natural Resources submitted comments that included proposed addenda to the lease template to add additional restrictions on any nomination that would be approved. So obviously that was an issue that we were not able to get a consensus on. We had, and discussed at the last meeting, the DNR restrictions. We had comments from the industry that had expressed some concerns about some of those. There was a desire expressed to try to find a middle ground. One of the things that I shared from my perspective at the last meeting is that it was not really realistic or permissible in the context of this process to effectively get the parties themselves together and ask for any kind of compromise from the various entities. But I do believe that for us as commissioners, because we were unable to get a consensus previously, it is incumbent on us to take a look at the various comments and proposals that we have received and to try to find a middle ground if there is one. So one of the things that I have done, and you should have a hard copy in front of you, and I know you've received electronic copies, and this has been also posted publicly and sent out through our distribution list, is what I would propose as a commission compromise addenda that is intended to address the restrictions and the concerns, which I think, as I mentioned in the last meeting, from my perspective, are all very valid and important on ODNR's part, while taking into account some of the valid questions and clarification points that the industry has raised too. And so the document that you have in front of you, which I know you've all had an opportunity to review, okay. this document is entitled Addendum to Standard Lease. I think it was titled in the email that you got as Proposed Revised Addendum. We do have a few additional small changes that I'm going to walk through that you have not seen. Those are all kind of coming out in real time. But to begin, I just want to make sure that everyone has the substantive document that was sent out yesterday. And then in front of you now, which you have not seen before, is a very slightly revised version of that. This is also titled Addendum to Standard Lease, but it has the updated 11/15/23 in red at the top. And this reflects some suggestions that we got, including from Commissioner Warnock, as he reviewed some areas where we had some language issues, some wordsmithing, things that created a little bit of confusion, some other feedback that we got, what I would consider to be very small clarification points. And we can walk through those. One very small change, as you all know, this document includes a definition of facility. And so the suggestion is that for clarity's sake, we should move that definition down into the well pad location, since that is the area that it pertains to. So this version has that change. Another suggestion that I thought was very valid, the term well site was used in this, and it was pointed out that this is not a sort of standard definition, and so it could lead to some confusion about what is actually being referred to there. And this new version clarifies that we are referring to the well pad, and so it changes well site to well pad. Leasehold is changed to lease premises for clarity's sake and to make sure that we're using the correct terminology. Clarified in section E3B that is calculated from the edge of a body of water. In H1, we've changed that to refer to successors and assigns. It's all very legalese minutia, but important for keeping it clear. In I1, we have clarified that there is a distance qualifier on that it only pertains to wells that are within, I think it is 2,000 feet. Just double check here. I believe that includes all of the changes that are in this. Commissioner Warnock, did I miss anything?
I don't think so, I think we got it.
I think one other change actually in the section that discusses responsibility for damage, we just put in expressly what was already included, that this is damage caused by the lessee, not other parties. And I believe that is everything that is there. Is there any discussion or any other comments now that you've had a chance to review the lease, either on the lease that was sent to you or on these kind of formatting and wordsmithing changes that I've addressed today?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. So I may have missed it, but on the last page, the time periods for the restrictions on drilling and completion activities, what was the source of that or basis for that?
Absolutely. So that pertains to the time periods where hunting is taking place and is, as I understand it, a provision that exists in leases that are currently in operation and is meant really just to ensure that during the time periods where hunting is actively occurring, that we're minimizing the noise and activity that may be taking place outside of the park.
You think they'll still be living there?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Buick.
So the document, the revised document from this document, the red letter, I'll call it, the one you just went over, is this one or is the one marked updated 11/15?
The revised one is the one updated.
So this one incorporates everything in the red letter one, plus the changes you just outlined.
Exactly, that's correct.
Okay, and this other document is just here in our building.
I think that was the clean version of the red line.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
okay.
right.
So that one goes with the red line. The one before us, at least for discussion purposes, the updated.
That's right.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other discussion, questions, comments on the
Madam Chair,
revised
is it
addendum?
1,000 feet or 2,000 feet from a facility to the well pad? Madam Chair, we got that document yesterday at 4:40 and it's incorrect this morning?
The only changes that were made to the document that was posted publicly are those that I discussed. It's still 1,000 feet from facility. This refers to a different provision. If these are, as I described, just the changes that I just announced, so these are happening in real time, which is why this has not been put out. If these are approved by the commission today, a revised version that incorporates these changes will be posted on the commission's website and available to the public.
What's the rush?
Okay, if there is no other discussion or questions, then I think we can move to discuss the actual nominations themselves. Oh,
Just one clarification,
yes.
The other language on the.
Yes.
You want to do that one too?
So you should also have in front of you a document that is titled Proposed Language Addition Regarding Economic Incentives. This is language that Commissioner Warnock proposed. As you all know, one of the topics that we discussed at the last meeting, and we've discussed this previously, was a concern about the set royalty and that it was not competitive with what current market rates are for the royalties. And so I'll let Commissioner Warnock jump in if I get any of this wrong, but I believe this is intended to address that deficit there and to ensure that these leases, notwithstanding what the statute says, will still be economically viable and competitive for the state.
That's fair. I mean, the idea was that this language would apply to, basically any of these nominations, not just the DNR ones. And the idea is that this is bringing it closer to market, kind of sets a more, what I view as a more reasonable floor. You can still obviously bid on something higher, but it's essentially establishing, a little bit additional consideration that would be paid to the state to bring it closer to the market rate.
Is that considering the mitigation costs of climate change? $1 million every day?
Again, I'm gonna ask that everyone in the audience, this is for observation.
Mitigation costs?
This is not an opportunity to answer questions, but I would be happy
We haven't had that opportunity.
And you're allowed
Okay,
to give away our
guys.
state, and we can't say anything? You can
Is this enough?
Okay. I'm gonna ask again that we can show respect to the commissioners.
Why should we show respect when you are not respecting us and you're giving away our land to be profit-making oil and gas?
I
Why should we
understand,
sit
okay.
here and listen to you do that? Let you do
I
that.
have an obligation and we have an obligation to conduct this meeting.
We know you're a dog and pony up there. We know.
If we cannot be respectful and allow the meeting to continue, we will have no choice but to ask people to leave. This meeting is being recorded. Our other citizens who are participating and watching this meeting have a right to hear what we are saying and to understand what we are saying, and we cannot allow interruptions.
We have a right to stop you.
I am going to ask that we observe respectfully, or we will have no choice but to ask people to leave. So please, if you have questions or comments, I welcome you to reach out to me following the meeting. I am happy to do that, but I will not, we cannot allow interruptions during this meeting. So with that, having had that conversation, I would propose that we move to a decision on the nominations. We'll begin with nomination 23 DNR 0005, which I would ask for a motion to approve that nomination with the inclusion of the revised addendum that I have proposed today, as well as Commissioner Warnock's language regarding the economic incentives.
And just with one clarification, that if there are any other kind of, I'll call them cleanup changes that need to be done before this goes out to bid, obviously, I think that's appropriate, and obviously all will be posted, for the public.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Deny.
Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Deny.
Commissioner Buer? Yes. Commissioner McGregor?
Yes.
Commissioner Warnock?
Yes.
Commissioner Wise?
Yes.
Chair Richardson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we will then move to 23, I'm sorry, actually, with that, the motion carries and nomination 23 DNR 0005 is approved. And we'll move forward.
Stop pushing oil and gas in Ohio. We demand you protect public lands and deny all fracking nominations.
Yes.
Whose part? Our part. 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 Whose land? Our land. Whose land? Our land. Whose land? Our land. Whose land? Our land. Whose land? Our land.
No fracking on our part!
No fracking on our part.
No fracking our part!
No fracking 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 our part.
Public land is not for profit!
Public land is not for profit.
Public land is not for profit!
Public land is not for profit.
Public land is not for profit!
Public land is not for profit.
Public land is not for profit!
Public land is not for profit.
We demand you deny!
We demand you deny.
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 Which side are you on?
Which side are you on? Yeah, get out! Gosh! Get out!
For the record, we called a 15-minute recess.
Whose parks?
Our
parks. Whose parks?
Our parks! Whose parks?
Our parks.
Whose parks?
Our parks.
Whose parks?
Our parks.
Whose parks?
Our parks. Yes, Commissioner Wise, get out! Hey, Commissioners, what do you say?
Hey, commissioners, what do you say?
How many parks will you sell today?
How many parks will you sell today?
Hey, Commissioner, what do you say?
Hey, commissioner, what do you say?
How many parks will
002, Valley Run Wildlife Area. What do people say?
Denied!
DNR 003, Valley Run Wildlife Area. What do people say?
Denied!
DNR 004, Zephyrnik Wildlife Area. What do people say?
Denied!
DNR 005, Salt Fork, that they just mistakenly agreed to Connery and police. What do we say?
Denied!
DNR 006, Salt Fork. What do people say?
Denied!
DNR 007, Salt Fork. What do people say?
Denied!
DNR 008, Wolf Run. What do people say?
Denied!
DNR 009, Salt Fork.
Denied!
And 0010, Salt Fork.
Denied!
And then there are 3 DOT, Department of Transportation, 005, 006, and 007. What do people say?
Denied!
Okay, woo!
Was that so hard?
The people have decided. 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 The people have decided.
Denied. End fossil fuels.
No fracking our parks. No fracking our parks. No fracking our parks.
No fracking our parks!
No fracking our parks.
No fracking our parks!
No fracking our parks.
No fracking our parks!
Woo! Woo!
Public land is not for profit.
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 What is the public land for? It's for the animals. It's for the air. It's for the water. Come on, what is it for?
We the
It's for
people.
us.
It's for
It's for us.
the animals. It's for the air. It's for the
Air we breathe.
Children.
water.
Yeah.
These parks are my parks. From the Colorado River down to Lake Erie, from the fields of Barnesville to Preble County. That's right. These parks are made for you and me. When I hiked that Salt Fork, I went to camping at Burr Road. I paddled out my weekends, and I swam at the lake coast, and I stood in the mud. The road just went dry, and that's right. These parks are made for you and me. These parks are your parks. These parks are my parks. From the Great Ohio up to Lake Erie, from the fields of Barnesville to Preble County. That's right. These parks were made for you and me. I stargazed at Tar Hollow. I turned and watched that mommy face. I wrote a song at Paint Creek. I drove a boat on Mosquito Lake. Yeah. I drank from the waterfall from Ash Cave in the Hocking Hills. That's right, you have to. These parks were made for to Lake Erie, from the field of Barnesville to Fresno County. That's right, these parks were made for you and me. No matter the money they spend, no matter the laws they write, no matter the lies they tell, what they're doing here just ain't right. These parks don't belong to them, they belong to our children.
That's right.
These parks were made for you and me. These parks are your parks. These parks are my parks. From the great Ohio River down to Lake Erie, from the field of Barnesville to Fresno County. That's right. These parks were made for you and me. Everybody stand up. Everybody cry out. They're the parks we care about. That's right.
Yes.
These are our parks. Your drilling is dirty at me. These parks were made for you and me. These parks are your parks. These parks are my parks. From the great Ohio River of the true Lake Erie, from the field of Barnesville to Fresno County. That's right. These parks were made for you and me. These parks are yours.
If I could have everybody's attention.
These parks are
If I could have everybody's attention. My name is Captain Moore with Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Law Enforcement. I just want to provide you the opportunity to protest. The safe place to do that is out front, in front of the gatehouse. We've provided a safe area for you to do that. That's coned off. We cannot have the protest inside the meeting because we need to still conduct business. So if you want to protest, please go outside, and the meeting still needs to go through with what we need to go through with today. If there's any questions about protest, please direct them out front and go to the coned areas. Thank
My grandchildren.
Whose parks?
Our parks.
Whose parks?
Our parks.
Whose land?
Our land.
Whose land?
Our land.
Whose meeting?
Our meeting.
Whose meeting?
Our meeting.
Whose parks?
Our parks.
Whose parks?
Our parks.
Whose land?
Our land.
Whose land?
Our land. We the people speak. We the people. Public land is not for profit.
Public land is not for profit.
Tell us why you won't deny.
Tell us why you won't deny.
Public land is not for profit.
Public land is not for profit.
Tell us why you won't deny.
Tell us why you won't deny.
Stop pushing gas and oil, Ohio!
Stop pushing gas and oil in Ohio. We are in a climate crisis. We can't continue destroying the earth. Yes, we are. A climate crisis. What do the people say? Depending on us. What do the people say?
Deny!
What do the people say?
Deny!
When they ask, should we approve this parcel of land, what they are really asking is, are we okay with poisoning the people here? Are we okay with poisoning the water here?
No!
No, we are not. Are we helpless against this? No!
No!
No! Deny!
Deny! Deny! Deny! Deny! Deny! Deny! Deny! Deny! Deny!
Whose land?
Our land!
Whose land?
Our land!
Whose parks?
Our parks!
Whose parks?
Our parks!
Whose land?
Our land! Stand up, fight back!
When our parks are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When our parks are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When our parks are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When our parks are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Okay,
When our parks are
at
under
this point,
attack,
we
what
are
do we
gonna
do?
Stand up, fight back!
Convene the meeting. I would ask that folks please sit and listen, otherwise the other people in this room
and those who are watching on Teams will not be able to hear us.
No one
We
wants
are
this.
going to have the meeting. That is our obligation. So we
This
would
is
ask-
ours. This is our obligation.
And that is fine.
Input.
That is fine, but no one will be able to hear what we're actually saying, which is the purpose of the open meeting.
We all know what you're
But
gonna
I am
say.
going to reconvene the meeting.
That this is ODNR.
At this point in time,
Ohio
the
taxpayers,
meeting
and
of
that's
the
us.
oil and
That's our voice.
at this point the
This is our meeting. This is not your responsibility to give away our part
at this
to the
point
fossil
the
fuel.
meeting of the Oil and Gas Land Management Commission is
It's
now
heinous that
session,
you are
and we
even
will continue
thinking that
moving
you
through
have
the
the
agenda.
right to take away our state parks
The
and
ego.
poison them.
You're bought and owned.
And you think
this one.
we're gonna just sit back and let you do this? No, no, no.
Our grandchildren are depending on us. Your grandchildren are depending on us.
Think of your
Your grandchildren.
Shame.
Shame.
Deny every
Shame.
single parcel. Deny every single parcel. Deny every single parcel. Deny every single parcel. Deny every single parcel.
Deny every single parcel. Deny every single parcel. Deny every single parcel.
Okay, at this point, I would ask for a motion to approve nomination 23 DNR 0006 with the addition of the revised addendum that we've discussed today and the additional language that Commissioner Warnock proposed. Do I have a second?
Deny.
Can we call the roll?
What do we say? What do we say?
Don't be climate
Commissioner
criminals.
Buer,
Yes.
Commissioner McGregor,
Yes.
Commissioner
Motion carries.
The people say deny. The people say deny. The people say deny.
For a
The
motion.
people say deny. The people say deny. The people say deny. The people say deny. The people say deny.
And the
The
language.
people say deny. The 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 people say deny.
The people say deny.
Commissioner Warnock,
How do you sleep at night?
Commissioner Wise,
This is not a
Chair
ballot
Richardson.
process.
History will remember these names.
Okay, the motion carries. And we will go to 0010.
Blood on your hands. Shame. Shame. Shame.
Oh,
Shame. Shame.
Shame.
I
Is there any discussion on 23 001?
Yeah.
Shame.
My only
Shame.
comment on this one,
Shame.
and this one
Shame.
includes property
Shame.
like DNR
Shame.
and ODOT.
Shame. Shame.
I
Shame.
am not
Shame.
in favor of this one because it involves multiple state agencies. I prefer that it stick with one state agency. I just logistically and with the comments coming in that there may be inconsistencies. I just can't support this.
Climate criminals.
Any additional?
Climate criminals.
Any
Climate criminals. Climate criminals. Climate criminals. Climate criminals. Climate criminals. Climate criminals.
Climate criminals.
Yes, it would.
And we need to do that also because the timeframes involved are going to expire.
That's great.
So we
We
need to-
have motion to action. If the consensus is that this this one should not move forward, we would move to deny, take a vote, and then it would be up to the nominator, if they choose to resubmit a nomination. And then if, in order to address the issues that Commissioner Warnock mentioned, it would be separate nominations for each individual agency.
Restore democracy.
Do I
How do you
have a
sleep
motion
at
for
night?
this one? 23
Motion to
NRC.
deny! Motion to deny! Motion to deny!
Okay.
Motion to deny!
Okay.
Motion to deny! Motion to deny! Motion to deny! Motion to deny! Motion to deny!
Motion to deny. Motion to deny. Motion to deny.
Commissioner Bueller,
Yes.
Commissioner McGregor,
Yes.
Deny.
Commissioner Warnock,
Yes.
Commissioner Wise,
Yes.
Chair Richardson.
Yes.
Shame.
The motion carries. 23 DNR 0010 is disapproved as a nomination and will not move forward. Okay, at this point, we will discuss nomination 23 DNR 0004 relating to Zephyrneck Wildlife Area. For this one, we would ask that the same addenda that we discussed in connection with Salt Fork would apply to the Zephyrneck. Although the specific version that you have in front of you relates to Salt Fork, we think the restrictions themselves have equal applicability to other DNR properties. So we would ask that, subject only to the specific changes to make it clearly reference Zephyrneck, that same addenda would apply for Zephyrneck. Is there any discussion with respect to this one?
Also the economic incentive.
Oh, thank you, yes, and also the language from Commissioner Warnock on economic incentives.
Tell us the money!
We
If you're
know
willing
all
to
about
exchange
it.
our lives,
Do
tell
I have a
us!
motion for 23 DNR 0004?
Don't frack our futures!
Do I have a
Don't
second?
frack our futures!
Okay.
Don't frack our futures! Don't frack our futures!
Commissioner
Don't
Bueller,
frack our futures!
Commissioner McGregor,
Don't frack our futures!
Commissioner Warnock,
Don't frack our futures!
Commissioner Wise,
Don't frack our
Chair
futures!
Richardson.
Don't frack our futures!
Motion
Don't
carries
frack
and
our
23
futures!
DNR 0004 is approved for bidding with the addition of the restrictions that we discussed today and the addition of the
Save our wildlife!
the Valley Run Wildlife nominations, which include 23 DNR 0001, 23 DNR 0002, and 23 DNR 0003.
Did you make sure not to interfere with the hunters?
Is there discussion with respect to these nominations?
Commissioners,
How
you dare not consider your future and your children?
The two small town lots, we had a lot of discussion
What?
on the last time, is it the DNR addendum?
These are
would be
young
appropriate
people in
for
front of you
those
that
two
are fearful for
parcels.
their existence.
I think it's fine
And
for
you're
the
throwing more
larger
gasoline on
parcels,
this
003.
fire of
I would
oil
say
and gas
you
shill!
don't need the DNR
Oil and gas
addendum for
shill!
1 and 2.
Oil and
You can
gas
have concession
shill!
areas, I would have on
Oil and gas shill!
Thank you, Commissioner Warnock.
Oil and gas shill!
From the,
Oil and
my
gas
perspective,
shill!
although I
Oil
certainly
and
do
gas
acknowledge
shill!
that these two
Oil and
small
gas
parcels
shill!
that Commissioner Warnock mentioned
Oil and gas shill!
because they are
Oil
not
and gas
currently
shill!
parkland.
Oil and
From
gas
DNR's
shill!
perspective, they still are
Oil and
DNR
gas
property
shill!
that could become something different, and so we would still propose that all of the restrictions would apply to all three. But I think, for just the same reasons that we've discussed, that we think these are necessary for any of the DNR parkland, regardless of how it is being used at this moment, given the possibility that those could change. Is there any other discussion, either on the nominations themselves or on the applicability of the addenda?
Let's discuss our futures!
We can't drink
Stop
Do I
poisoning
have, do I
us!
have a motion?
We will hold you accountable!
Do I have a
Motion to
second?
deny! Motion to 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 deny!
Thank you.
Motion to deny! Motion to deny! Motion to deny! Motion to deny!
Although we
Motion
discussed
to
it
deny!
together,
Motion
the
to
motion
deny!
relates to each one at a time. So this motion will be for 23 DNR 0001. Do I have a second?
You guys have no idea how
Madam Chair.
Just deny it.
Are we, is your motion, Mr. Wise, with
Death
all three of the
sentence.
amendments?
Death
Or just
sentence.
the economic?
This is a death sentence to Ohio. Death sentence to Ohio. Paying for the tax break you gave the rich.
And we'll take a
This
vote.
is theft. It is theft.
Commissioner Buer.
Yes.
Theft.
Commissioner McGregor.
Theft.
Commissioner Warnock.
Theft.
No.
Theft. Theft.
Commissioner Wise.
Theft. Theft.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Theft. Theft.
Okay, that the nomination, the motion carries, and nomination 23 DNR 0001 is approved with the additional agenda and the additional language regarding economic activity. We'll move to 23 DNR 0002.
Shame.
I was involved in state
Shame.
regulation 0001, so I would ask the motion with the nomination.
Shame. Shame.
Thank you, Commissioners. Do I have a second?
Shame. 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 Shame.
All in favor?
Shame. Shame.
Commissioner Buer.
Shame. Shame.
Commissioner McGregor.
Shame.
Commissioner Warnock.
No.
Henry David Thoreau and wildlife
Commissioner Wise.
preservation of the world.
Chair Richardson.
Yes.
Yeah.
The motion carries, and 23 DNR 0002 is approved with the addition of the addenda and the language regarding economic incentives. We'll move to 23 DNR 003, which I think we've discussed, and I would ask for a motion.
Dog and pony. Dog and pony. Dog and pony.
Okay, we'll call the vote.
Dog and pony. Dog and
Commissioner
pony.
Buer.
Dog and
Commissioner
pony.
McGregor.
Puppet show!
Commissioner
Puppet
Warnock.
show! Puppet show!
Commissioner Wise.
Puppet show! Puppet
Chair
show!
Richardson.
Puppet show! Puppet show! Puppet show!
The motion
Puppet
carries,
show!
and 23
Puppet show!
DNR
Puppet
0003
show!
is
Puppet
approved with
show!
the addition
Puppet
of the
show!
agenda and additional language regarding economic incentives.
Puppet show! Will you explain this meeting to my grandchildren?
Okay, we will now move to
Science says you're
You're gonna die soon, but we have to live with you after.
0008. And
pay for my
on
great-grandchildren's
this one,
cancer.
There's
have
blood
over
on your
here-
hands.
You have a letter that did come in on behalf of OSU raising some concerns about notice. For the record on this one, I did clarify that it is our position that appropriate notice was provided and that we complied with all aspects of the statute. As a reminder, once the additional agencies were identified by DNR, we reposted the nominations so that all agencies that OSU and DNR had a full 45 days to provide their comments. All agencies, including OSU, did provide their comments, and we heard those and addressed those, and so I do not believe that there is any defect in terms of the statutory requirements or the notice requirements. With that clarification, is there a need for discussion or questions with respect to 0008?
We'd like to discuss.
They want us.
So I agree with you, I think there's
We
really probably not
demand
a notice
you
issue,
deny.
I think it's, the bigger issue is that this one involves 3 state agencies and some pretty big swaths. like
Diana
each
pointed
agency
the water.
owns. So,
Have you had fracked water? Oh.
there's also,
That's
I think
money,
there's economic
and you'll
considerations
approve
that go
it.
into this one as well. But the notice issue is, I think you've addressed that sufficiently. I'm concerned with this one because of the multiple state
Oil and
agencies.
gas shell, right there.
Do we
Oil
have
and gas
a,
shell.
do we want to discuss
Oil
that
and
issue, or
gas
do we,
shell.
are we ready for a motion with respect to this one?
We demand you deny. We
demand
you
deny.
We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you deny. We demand you
We demand you deny. We demand you deny.
You are in the wrong! You are in the
We
wrong!
have a motion
You
to
are in
approve.
the
Is there a
wrong.
second?
You are in the wrong! No second!
No!
No!
Okay, if there is not a second on that, do I have a motion to deny?
Yes.
Yes, deny.
We love the land. We love our land.
We hate
love our
cancer
land.
and asthma and no earthquakes and.
Don't crack Ohio.
Who seconded that one? Oh, I don't know that anyone seconded.
Commissioner Buer,
Yes.
Commissioner McGregor,
Yes.
Commissioner Warnock,
Yes.
Commissioner Wise,
No.
Chair Richardson.
No. The motion carries, and 23 DNR 0008 is disapproved for
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deny them all.
Deny them all. Deny them all. Deny them all.
At this
Deny them all. Deny them all.
to
Deny them all. Deny them all.
This is 23 DOT 0006.
Deny them all.
Property that's right-of-way parcels along Interstate 40 in Polk Township. For the specific ODOT property, we received in the comments from the law an indication that the agency believes that they are not authorized to sign a lease because this is subject to federal restrictions and federal pre-approval. So in light of that, I believe the nomination if the agency is not authorized to sign a lease, I think the appropriate thing for this nomination, the nomination very interested, is necessary to get
Deny them all.
before the nomination and then we can consider it at that time.
Deny them all.
Would be my
Deny them all.
recommendation
Deny them all. Deny them all.
Is there any
Deny them all.
Do I have a motion?
them all.
Okay, do I have a second?
said parking, 12.
Okay, and we'll call the roll.
Commissioner Buer,
Yes.
Commissioner McGregor,
Yes.
Chair Warnock, or not Chair Warnock, sorry, Commissioner Warnock. Gave you promotion, sorry.
Yes.
Commissioner Wise, Chair Richardson.
Yes. The motion carries and 23 DNR, 23 DOT 0006 is disapproved for bidding.
Thank you. Thank you.
Deny them all. Deny them all. Deny them all. Deny them all.
Deny them all. Nomination for consideration in today's meeting. This is 23 DOT 0005. This is another ODOT property. The ODOT comments that were submitted for this one, we did not include any kind of concern about special restrictions here. So I would recommend that we approve this nomination. ODOT nominations previously, with the addition, as folks may recall, of the hold harmless provision that
Save
ODOT
our
has
water.
asked included in.
Save our water. Save our water.
Commissioner
Save our water.
Do I have a second?
Save our water. Save our water. Save our water. Save our water.
This is an
Save our water. 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 Save our water.
Let's call the
Save
roll.
our water. Save 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 our water.
Commissioner
Save
McGregor,
our water.
Commissioner Warnock.
Save our air.
Commissioner
Fracking
Wise.
kills.
Fracking kills.
Commissioner
Fracking
Woodruff.
kills.
Fracking kills.
Fracking kills.
Fracking
Chair
kills.
Hudson.
Fracking kills.
Fracking kills.
Fracking kills.
Fracking kills. Fracking kills.
Fracking kills.
Fracking kills. Fracking kills. Fracking kills. Fracking kills. Fracking
That
kills.
is the last nomination we have on the agenda for
Fracking
today.
kills.
As
Fracking
you know,
kills.
the statute calls for bidding to take place at the next quarter, which means that those nominations that we have approved today would be posted for bidding beginning in January. So we would do what we did previously for the nominations that were approved and put up a notice in January that we would be accepting bids for all of the nominations that were approved today.
Shut it down.
Move right to your chair.
Anything else that we need to discuss at the meeting today? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second? Okay, we'll call the roll.
Did you ever hear of methane?
Commissioner Buer.
Yes.
We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back.
Commissioner Warnock. Commissioner Wise. Chair Richardson.
Criminals.
All right, we are adjourned.
Criminals.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Criminals. Climate criminals.
Climate criminals. Climate criminals. Climate criminals. Climate criminals. Climate criminals.